Let's start the Forge with your Forge Master and host G Metal. Welcome back to Burn Point 15. We are back in it. Guys, I am excited for this one. This one's all about the self-reliant character, or the I can do everything character. This character's been around for ages. One of the best and saddest characters. Is one of those characters that just go deep into your soul and crush you, but make you admire them at the same time. What is this character really? We'll find out on this episode of Burn Point. Time to cool the blade. Now, before we go 100 miles an hour, let's slow it down and see what is the self-reliant hero. What do they act like? Who are they? Are they the best? Are they the worst? What are they, man? I'll tell you this. G-Metal believes these characters are very, very skilled, but very, very arrogant. What do I mean? Well, the arrogance of a character determines how they'll move in the world, right? But the arrogance of a self-reliant character is different, because they're neither good nor evil. They're neither reliable or dependable or irresponsible. The self-reliant character moves as much as he needs to move for himself, as much as he needs to advance for himself. His independence is so important that he sees others as a hindrance to his own independence, his own push for life. And he wants to be able to be him no matter what, because it is the most cherished thing to him. His independence goes hand in hand with his arrogance. And it's just one of those things where he can't look back. He can't look forward. He can only look forward, I take that back. He looks forward, but he can't look back because no matter who's behind him, they're probably not as good as him. And people normally say, I could do this without you, but they mean it and they do. The biggest crutch this kind of character may need is, in fact, maybe emotional support, right? Emotional support may be the biggest thing for these characters. Big ones that come to mind are Rick Sanchez, Tony Stark, Batman to a degree. Now it changes because he has a whole Bat family that people focus on. Some of the iconic traits of this character, of being self-reliant and stuff, is being smart, strategic, always has a plan for everything and everyone. They thought up a way to fight you and them, and they know everything about you, how you're going to come at them, potential threats that haven't even been existent yet, like Rick Sanchez takes us to another level, so it's Batman. Tony Stark has a bunch of machines, but these characters know even the things they don't know in a weird way, right? These characters normally, in my opinion, I would say that I want to say more either villains, like Lex Luthor is also one of these kind of characters, or anti-heroes, which is Rick Sanchez. Batman's the hero version of it. And Iron Man, I really do debate that Iron Man's more of a anti-hero than he is a hero, because his motives and everything he does, he never really has a real plan, I would say, to be a hero. He tends to do stuff, fixes them, and then gets called a hero. It's something of a self-reliant character would do. He makes mistakes, he fixes it, but he never really stops making those kind of mistakes. It just happens, he fixes them, the world likes him again. Now, in my opinion, there is some downside to this character, obviously. The mistakes they make, they're a bit selfish, so to speak, and they're very, very against commitment. Commitment scares them because they are then committed to another person who may not be on their level, who may just be lesser than, or can't even compare to the lowest enemy. Commitment to these characters is a very scary thing because they're so self-reliant, they're so self-efficient, that anyone else in that bubble would have to keep up with them. And it's a very, very strong case that these characters don't like to look back and be like, hey, catch up to me, I'm almost here. In Rick and Morty, it's impossible for him to admit that he likes his kids. He does in the end. He likes his grandkids. Summer and Morty. And if you look at it, like, he only does it like when he absolutely has to. But in the grand scheme of things, he shows disdain towards them because he notices that he has to pull back so they can grow a little bit too. The self-reliant hero is at the same time admirable. Also, the admirability, in my opinion, leads to some bit of loneliness because of their greatness. It's, you are great, but others may not be as great as you. Time to grind. A major thing about the self-reliant character. The self-reliant character is someone who's very much a individual, a trendsetter, a self-starter, someone who doesn't listen to the rules as much because he feels it holds them back from potential futures. Traditions don't mean much to someone who's self-reliant because they want to be the best. And nothing would stop them from being the best, including traditions, government, laws, and so on and so forth. They will find a way to do it. The best way to think of a self-starter is someone whose enemy is society. They look at the world through such an individualistic lens that society is his own enemy. They get in their own way, and he or she believes only they could do it because they're the only ones willing to change. They're the only ones willing to look at the future and say, there's a better tomorrow if you just let go of the past. The self-starter knows who he is, what he wants, and what they're going to push for. Nothing gets in their way, even to the sense of morality. Victor Frankenstein has this major thing about him. He sees the future. He knows what the future could be, and he takes moral risk. He takes risks that do not always pan out. It's always risky being a self-starter. Being self-reliant, being just oneself is always a risk because you are individualistically, aiming for something greater, and others will not be ready for change. Change is the key to being self-reliant. It's never stopping, never not growing, but consistently being oneself and aiming for high achievement. Achievement and success only come with sacrifice of morals, sacrifice of others, sacrifice of self. And that is where the self-reliant hero or villain or anti-hero is always at. It's never a complete selfish act, but it is somewhat of a selfish act of pushing boundaries. These people will always be praised historically, but will never be praised in the moment because people are too scared to see what could happen. Also, they could push so hard that they may become the villain. In any good fictional story, self-reliance could lead to many things, but will always be positive. We really don't know. If you look at the Frankenstein story, the end moral was that Victor Frankenstein created a monster that he couldn't control, that he tried to play God. And it could be interpreted that in playing God, he was wrong for trying to push forward in surgeries. Is that always the case for every of these characters? No. But they do hit some snags. What happens when they hit some snags? They have to pick themselves up. And for the most part, they can keep it going. And these characters in history are the ones that change systems, political outcomes, make inventions. Da Vinci in real life is what you would call a self-reliant person, ingenious, knows how to do things. So there's just so much to these characters that in the moment they'll never be praised, and maybe in the future they might not be. But that's the risk of being this kind of character. Being so self-reliant, being so self-pushing, improves everyone else eventually. one way or another, positive or negative. Let's test the fires. Now, the character I will use as the best example I can think of is Bruce Wayne Batman. Why Bruce Wayne Batman? And like I said in the beginning, he has a family and they do help him a lot of stuff. But Bruce Wayne Batman is very much one of these kind of characters. How so? Step 1, he always has a plan for everyone. He made contingency plans for every member, every superhero, and every villain to take down at any time in the day, and how to beat them, how to kill them, how to subdue them. Is just an insane thing. On top of that, Batman's utility belt has equipment, not just plans. He's not just strategic, but he has bombs and everything in that utility belt to fight every criminal he never fought before. And in doing all that, he's already prepared. Another big thing for him is he's always in the city. He never stops being Batman. And the question is why? Why? Because of his trauma past, and then he starts saving the city. But he never truly stops saving the city because he doesn't believe anyone else really can. He'll have a partner or two, but he'll never truly just give the reins up to someone. He always has to have his hands in the pot of Gotham. He always has to know what's happening. If some new alien were to hit DC on Earth, innocent or not innocent, he would find out how to bring them down, what planet they're on, what color hair they have, what's their favorite toy, before anyone knows he's even landed there. That's what Batman does. And if you really look at these characters, it's just they know what they're doing at all times. Batman knows what his entire family is at all times. He created Brother Eye to even assist him in the Herculean act, I would say, to find everyone he wants to find instantly. And with that one, he just sent robots with that one. Looks like how Tony Stark would with his robots from Age of Ultron. But Batman has suits, planned to defeat gods, planned to defeat people, planned to defeat anyone. It's a beautiful thing. And one of his major flaws is letting go and looking for happiness. Batman had dealt with so many crimes in Gotham that it gotten to the point where he knows where to look first, where to find first, and sometimes he finds it difficult to tell Robin, to tell Dick Grayson, to tell Jason, to tell anyone. He moves forward. His commitment to crime and stopping it is his biggest commitment overall, and I think that's just what Batman does. His curse will forever be saving Gotham, being the Batman, and stopping criminals at all cost. He calls himself Batman, and he believes Bruce Wayne is the alter ego. So you tell me. Forger's Last Stand. Okay, guys, now, with the self-reliant character, what is their biggest traits, biggest flaws? We went over that, right? Personally, I think, just like every other trope that I've run over in these episodes, I think a big point of the self-reliant, of heroes, is the flaws, the upside, and where they land. The self-reliant trope is not a hero, it's not a villain, it's whatever society is at the moment. And I really think that it is good to be self-aware of oneself, but also understand where one's limits are. But also, self-reliant hero is always man's pinnacle of greatness. They know what's right. They won't back down for what they believe in. They'll push for the stars, even when everyone says they don't need it. But the problem is, you need it even when you think you don't need it. Self-reliance is one skill that all people should have. Not men, not just women, not just adults, everyone. And with that skill comes great responsibility. Like Spider-Man, of course, right? But ultimately, the self-reliant hero is such a great trope villain, because you always feel for them. They always claw from the bottom to make it to the top. And if they're on the top already, they stay on top with an iron will. It's like the competitor in me can never dislike this character that much. Only these kind of characters can be so self-assured and make so many mistakes but never lose sight of their end goal, their utopia. There's a utopia at the end of the tunnel all the time. They always fight for it, and this is the best trait for them. They push forward, they kill it, and they become rock stars because no one else wants to become that rock star. Everyone wants to be liked, everyone wants to be loved, but that kind of rock star that just moves and changes everything, that's the kind of hero or villain self-reliance can create. Thanks guys for listening to this podcast. I appreciate anyone who listens to this episode. I love that. If you got anything out of it, let me know on the social medias. If you have any ideas, let me know. I'm only one man with one head, and I need more heads to give me a little bit more ideas, you know what I'm saying? The fun part is coming up with more, thinking about more. It's a fun time. I love listening to new ideas, getting more time from my friends and family, and from people online. It's always a fun time. And remember, stay metal and rock on.